Alright, back again. At this point, I've accelerated to great speed ahead. And in this phase, this video is going to demonstrate what in German was called the Vorsatzmanöver, which literally translates to the maneuver to put yourself in front of the target. It's literally the front-putting maneuver, which is essentially, according to German U-boat doctrine, was 0 degrees angle on bow. You literally overhauled until you were directly ahead of the target, at which time you pretty much dived. And the reason for that was, in real life, these targets changed course. If it was a single ship, you're likely dealing with a ship that was fast, zigzagging. So putting yourself directly in front of the target was a very wise thing to do, because you thereby eliminated all possibility, or almost all possibility anyway, of that target outmaneuvering you. You're at the most ready position you can be in by being directly ahead. Now, of course, you think, okay, well, why should I approach the target from directly ahead? Shouldn't I move off its course line a certain number of meters in order to put myself in a good position? The answer to that is yes, and we will demonstrate how that's done. But while we're doing this, so you can see the targets are a little more in view. They're more in view than I usually have them. But in this case, they're close enough where we can actually get a little better appreciation for the angle on bow here. So we can almost true up that angle on bow now. So the first thing to do whenever you change course is reset your attack disk. So we're at now a course of 270. I need to set my own course to 270, all right? And then what I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and re-estimate what the angle on bow is here. So that angle on bow there is actually, that's actually about 65 to 70 left. Let's just call it 65 left. So at 98 degrees, all right, 98 degrees, 65 left. So what we do is we say the bearing is 98. God, this keeps moving on me here. The bearing is 90. Bearing is 98, like that, and left 65. Get this out of the way. Left 65. Let's call it right there. So 250. So actually, maybe our initial estimate might have been, or even let's call it 255. Let's say it's 255. All right. So now, if the course was 255 instead of the 290 that we originally estimated, that means the angle on bow is actually less than what we originally thought. So let's take a look at what that means. We estimated the target course was 290, but now we're thinking, based on updated visual course information, angle on bow information, that the course is more like 255. All right, so how do we in the angle on this was an angle on bow of 106. Well, we need to just do some math. We just say 290 minus 255 equals, that's a difference of 35 degrees. Okay, so we need to reduce this angle on bow by 35 degrees. Minus 35 is going to give me a difference. It's going to be 71. So the angle on bow was, instead of 106, was actually 71. So we can take a look at this calculation again, okay, using that information. So we take our 5.6 and we align it with 71. 5.6 here, and align it with 71 right there, okay? And then we read off at the bearing, which didn't change, the bearing being 74, right there. The speed is, well, 5.7, okay? 5.7. So what you're doing is you're always aligning, when you're doing the constant bearing calculation on here, you're simply taking your own speed that you use to match or to get a constant bearing, and you're aligning it with your best estimate of the angle on bow. So at this time, 5.6 knots was our own speed, 71 was the angle on bow. I used this helper thing to align it, 71 with 5.6, and then I read off at the bearing, which will never change. Excuse me, the bearing which will never change, 74 there, and the speed is 5.7 knots. That's pretty close. It's going to be a pretty close estimate, but we're going to refine it. Right? So I like to adjust my course so that keep it roughly at about a 90 degree bearing to overhaul. So we'll get our course changed a little bit here. That's probably good right there. And again, get it so it's on an even degree. 283, come here. 283. Just get in the habit of, if you're going to use the attack disc, get in the habit of moving this to set it to your own course always. All right. So we're continuing to overhaul. The point now is to put ourselves at the 0 degree angle on bow. Okay. So we've re-estimated the course at 255 versus our. So we'll just scratch this out and say, I'll keep it in here. I won't necessarily just delete it. I'll just keep it in here so that we can see what we did. And let's just say it's actually 255 now. Okay, so that corresponds to an angle on bow of, instead of 106, it's going to be of 71. All right. Okay, so that is the deal with that. So we are continuing to overhaul here, getting around to a 0 degree angle on bow. That's called Vorsetzen. And once we get to 0, we will know their course exactly because we can observe a 0 degree angle on bow. But I'll also show you another trick that the historical skippers used to be absolutely sure that they've matched course and speed with the target. And that is, once they're directly ahead, they would turn to put the target again on 180 and then suppress any bearing changes in course, meaning if theoretically if you're exactly in front of the target and matching its course, the bearing shouldn't change because you should be on the target's course line. So they would adjust their own course. That's the Ausdampfen von Kurs und Fahrt. That's the suppressing of the matching of course and speed. And then if they would adjust their own speed such that the range looked like it was the same. Right there, you've got perfect information at that point. So, anyway, so that covers the overhaul maneuver and getting to 0. I will I'm going to end this video now, and I'll restart it again once we're getting close to 0. So just stand by for me here.